You know what they're debating right now in New York? If the Giants regret paying Daniel Jones. Welcome to the party, man. You're only 7 months too late. Where in your right mind did you think that that was in the right? Can I tell you? There's a prime example of an NFL football team controlling the media in New York because everybody thought it was a great idea. And no one would go on the air, dare say anything against the Giants because the Giants end up calling their bosses up. Hey, this guy's an anti this. Well, we're not going to put guys on your station. I used to say this. So effing what? I don't give a shit if you put a guy on. Honestly, and I was the flagship of the Bucks. And at the end of the day, did it cost me my job? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I was doing 10 shares. That's a fact. But you can't do shows like that anymore. You think you go on WIP and start slamming the Eagles because they're underusing Goddard when you pay him $16 million? Never happened. Never happened. Bob Lang would be up your rear end faster than a lightning pole. You kidding me? He'd be calling up the bosses every 10 seconds. You're kidding me, right? You're going to question play calling? That's why Angelo's not there anymore. Angelo's not there because he can't tell the truth. You can't tell the truth in radio anymore. You can't. You can't do a normal show. No one's shitting on the Eagles. You're just pointing something out. Why are you paying Dallas Goedert? Is he part of the offense? Hey, Nick, is he part of the offense? Yes or no? Because in the first month, he's been Casper the Ghost. He's Casper the Ghost. Okay? He's Casper the Ghost. Who asked that question? Hey, you do it a roundabout way. Hey, Nick, it's a little concerning that he's not getting... Get to the point. Why are you not using him? Is it Brian Johnson? No. You see what Nick did too the other day? A typical Angelo move. He said he made the call late in the game to run the ball. Why would you fall on the sword for Brian Johnson like that when you don't need to? That shit is so obvious. I think that guy doesn't tell the truth. I don't believe Nick Sirianni tells the truth. He'll bullshit you, man, until you're blue in the face. You really called that play to run the ball late in the game to keep Washington in it and so that the heat won't go on Brian Johnson because nobody will jump his shit because the Eagles got your back. You can't be any more pathetic than that. I'm wrong, right? Of course I am. Because you're just like the media sometimes. You'll jump on the side of Nick when you know that was a shitty play. You're running the ball late in the game like that with Kenny Gainwell. And you think that was a smart play call. No, I called it. You called it. So how many plays, Nick, do you call during the game? 2 or just that one? Yeah, Sirianni's such a genius. They pulled the coordinating responsibilities away for him after he was 2-5 to save his job. That's what a genius he is. Yeah. Even Gannon's trying to take credit for it. Hey, I went to Nick and said, maybe you should give up the play calling. Yeah, he went to your genius. As a matter of fact, I think Steichen and the guy in Arizona, they're not doing awful of a bad job. I'm actually pretty shocked by both of them. Even the guy in Arizona. Man. I'm kind of shocked. Because the OC and DC you have now are not good. It's JV. Well, tell me this then, Nick. Who made that call on 3rd and 1 that you decided to give the ball back to Washington after they didn't get it on a 3rd and 1 and you took the penalty, and then you took your corners off the ball and gave them a free catch and release. Whose call was that? Was that Desai's? I'm surprised you haven't jumped on that one. Jesus criminy, that guy does not tell the truth. He's some sort of like a sword swallower where he just jumps on a sword. There's no need for it. Coordinator made a bad call. Let him pay the price for it. He's going to have to one day when he's a head coach. How many times did he jump on the sword for Jonathan Gannon's shitty defenses last year? Come on, man. That guy is a bookkeeper. When I look at Nick Sirianni, he's a bookkeeper. He's an accountant. Okay? He's Howie's guy. You could fire Doug Peterson. That guy's not relevant either. Haven't you seen that? He's just a widget. Wait a minute. Let me get this right. So you think the Eagles would be 0-4 without Sirianni? Do you believe? Do you believe they'd be 0-4 without Nick? Hey, that's a good question. Do you think they'd be 0-4 without Nick Sirianni? What would they be? He is, man. I like Nick, but I don't believe that in the slightest. Yeah, that football team would still be 4-0. Okay? They'd still be 4-0 with that guy or without him. You take Andy Reid off that team in Kansas City. You think they're 2-2? Or 1-3? You think they have 2 Super Bowls if Andy Reid's not in the building? Just asking. With Patrick Mahomes, do you think they have 2 Super Bowls if Andy Reid's not the head coach? That's all I need to know. All you need to know. Your coach is irrelevant. He's good on press conferences. He's not really good on game day decision-making. And by the way, whose decision was it not to play DeAndre Swift? Is that a Nick Sirianni decision too? Who's the decision not to throw the ball to Dallas Goedert? Is that a Nick Sirianni decision too, or Brian Johnson? I'm getting confused here. I'm confused. Since he's taking blame, are you taking the blame for Goddard too? Is there anything you're doing right? One thing I will say is Sirianni's self-aware. He always says, you want to find a good coach, look at the good players. Absolutely. Look at Belichick. He recognizes he walks into a great situation in Philly. Hey, man, you think Barry Switzer was a superstar NFL coach when he won a Super Bowl? Really? I'll take Sirianni over Switzer as a pro coach. Okay. Hey, I love Coach Switzer. And Coach Switzer and I are dear friends. But do you really think that Barry Switzer's a better coach than Nick Sirianni? I do not. Okay? And Switzer won a Super Bowl. Like we were saying in the opening hour of the program, you show me an NFL Coach of the Year winner, I'll show you a loser. That award sucks. Who cares? What's up, Big Sills? In your opinion, what should the defense do to improve the pass defense? I like moving Brown to the slot and JB outside would help. That's a good point. Let's take a look at you know what? I was going to look at the offense first, but let's look at the defense. How many people in here believe that the Eagles over the first month have a top 10 defense? Somebody's in here calling Switzer a placeholder. That's what Nick is. How many people believe the Eagles have a top 10 defense after the first month of the season? Steve goes, I believe so. Big Picking goes, and that's why I quantified it. After the first month of the season, first quarter poll, when you kind of look at your valuations, okay, do you think the Eagles have a top 10? The Eagles are ranked 16th. What I have, Tone. Okay, I thought they were ranked 16th overall. Can you just double check that for me? I just looked up at ESPN and I got 16th. You got them 13? That's not far outside the top 10, especially with all the stuff that they've been giving up. Okay. No, Tone, I want to double check this because of the penalty thing the other day. Just to make sure that I'm right around there. I thought I saw 16th. That they were ranked 16th. I want to get because to me I want to know what the trends are going. And no, you're right. They're currently ranked 16th in yards allowed. Okay, so you're in the middle of the league. Okay, you're in the middle of the league. That's actually not as bad as I thought. Because I do think there's going to be room for improvement. Okay? You're 16th. Here are the best defenses in fewest yards allowed, passing and running over the first month. Now, do you think this matters? Teams giving up the least? The Browns are number one, giving up only 196.8 yards per game. That's insane. That's insane. Now, again, let's put this into context too. Schedule, who you play, division, all that stuff. So just by the numbers, you could go like this. Some teams could look a little bit, man, really? And because of some of the opponents they play, somebody doesn't have a run game. Like the Vikings don't have a running game. Okay? That makes your numbers look a little bit better. Okay? But when you're only giving up 200, you're giving up less than 200 yards a game. That's unbelievable. That's historic. Okay? That's historic. And they are great. And by the way, am I right? Is Jim Schwartz D coordinator there? Is Jim Schwartz a defensive coordinator in Cleveland? Wow. So the guy who won the Super Bowl for you was hired by a guy who was in the building in Philly, Andrew Berry, and he's the coordinator there. And you didn't think to bring that guy back to see if he wanted to be even a consultant after Fangio went to Miami? Interesting. You were going to bring Frank Reich back. That's why I bring that up. Cowboys are 2. I think that number's misleading. Do I think the Cowboys are the second best defense in the NFL after getting crushed by Arizona? Not likely. I think that number, there's a prime example. Well, we just talked about Philly. But watch this. Sills, who's a more physical defense, Philly or Dallas? Philly. Philly. Okay? Philly is. Dude, you got, I'll tell you this. Do I ever see this year where the Eagle defense will give up 200 yards rushing? No way. No way. No way. How many? Does anybody here think that the Eagles will give up 200 yards rushing? Anybody? Not a chance. Not a chance. If I saw that number against Philly, I'd be like, wow, there must have been a shitload of injuries. And that, like, do I see San Francisco running for 200 yards on Philly? Man, not a chance. Not a chance. Ravens, 3. That's a pretty good number for them. 260.8 yards a game. This is why they're winning ball games, because they fixed it and turned this thing around. Eagles are currently giving up 63 yards rushing, ranked second in the NFL. And see, that number's a little bit jaded because you know why? Minnesota doesn't have a run game. However, I believe in the personnel they have. So the numbers, they see, look, Dallas is ranks second-rate defense in the NFL. No way. No way. No way. You get this. Tone, this is why I told you, Tone. Get this. This is why I told you when you come out of that game last night and you saw what Seattle did to New York. This is why I have a different opinion of Dallas's defense. More so on that side of the ball. So wait a minute. Let me get this right. Seattle kicked the shit out of that Giants team. Dallas was crowing about it, and they got ran over by Arizona, who has arguably no talent on that roster. And you want to tell me that you got the second defense in the NFL? Dude, I think there's some good players there, but they're just, that team's not physical. I do think this Lions team is pretty good at 4. I do. 280.5. That's anytime you keep a team under 300 yards of total offense, you're doing a great job. It's not that difficult any longer. Now, look, most teams throw the ball. Hey, throwing a ball in today's NFL for 300 yards, do you think that's a big deal? Do you think that's a big deal, throwing for 300 yards in a game? Shit, I see Baker Mayfield do that. I mean, I don't think that's a big deal. Now, I'm not dismissing Jalen because this is the difference with Hurts. Well, it used to be until the Eagles decided to take this stuff back. When Hurts would go for 250 in the air and 75 yards on the ground, you can't stop that. The 75 yards are more impactful than the 250 or the 275. Jalen Hurts threw for 300 yards, right? And watch, it still almost beat you with Sam Howell. Jalen Hurts runs for 85, 90 yards and throws the ball for 275. Commanders are never getting the ball back. You can't defend that. You cannot defend it. Jalen Hurts runs for 28 yards, throws for 316 yards. I'll take that all day. I'll take that all day. He's not the most accurate guy. He's improving at 67.7. I love that. Okay? But he's really had a half of football where he's thrown the ball well. How about the Bills at 6? Bills shut down a team that scored 70 points the previous week. They're 6th, 288. So the Bills have a top 10 offense and a top 6 defense. Whew. You're doing some things there, man, in Buffalo right now. You're doing some shit in Buffalo right now, bro. Here's how the Falcons are staying in that race down in the NFC South. They're 7th in defense. I think the Jesse Bates addition has been a key component to why they've turned that thing around down there. They're getting better on defense. The quarterback, Desmond Ridder, sucks. I would rather have kept Mariota. Okay? I'd rather have kept Mariota. Chiefs, 8. Wow. So you got a top 10 defense, KC, and you got a top 10 offense in Kansas City. It's pretty good, man. You could see when the play breaks down, he wants to run, but run by because they told him to stay in the pocket. He gets frustrated. Yeah, he also has pre-slides. They're telling him to get down. The Rams are 9th. Way to go, Raheem Morris. I hope he gets another opportunity at being a head coach. Man, I like that coach. We are dear friends. Our first meeting wasn't the best, but we used to go to lunch together, and I really love this coach. And by the way, Aaron Donald's playing great football, man. The Patriots are 10th. That's a good thing for the Eagles. What you guys were saying the last couple of weeks about the Patriot defense, as bad as their O looks, they'll always be good on defense. And the Eagles are 16th. Now, but look, like I said, the Dallas thing, dude, Dallas will always have an asterisk, in my opinion, because you got destroyed by Arizona. You were freaking destroyed. And then you're going to try to take victory laps on that Giant win? Hey, man, I'll give you the Jet win. But the Giants? Come on now.